Well, it turned out, during the course of that week, we hung out in London together, and she had a boyfriend, and I'd gone on a date with her roommate, and it was all platonic, and, you know, although at one point my sister said to me, could you imagine being married to her? And I was like, well, I don't know. She's got that Ohio accent. But the very first day that we hung out in London platonically or whatever, we went to the Queen's garden, which I think it's really sweet that the Queen lets everybody look at her garden. And we walked around and we threw frisbees, and we met this young couple, and they were very sweet and very British. Oh, they were so British. And she was an actress, and he was worked in a bank. It was this sweet guy, had a little bit of a stutter, but just such a sweet, charming little couple. And they had just gotten engaged, and they told us the story of their engagement. And of course, you know, her being an actress, she'd been in a bad mood on the one day that he had off from work. He bought the ring, he planned it all out, he woke her up from her nap. She said, I don't want to get up. He said, oh, you've got to get up. We're going to go on a walk in Hyde Park. And she, you know, she fought it, and finally he's like, you have to come with me on this walk. And so they went on the walk, and she was just harumping and being a jerk about it. And finally he sat her down and he said, listen, someday somebody's going to ask you a question. And I thought that was such a sweet line. And he got down on one knee and he proposed to her, and she started crying. Which, she's an actress, so that's pretty much par for the course, but she did say yes, and I thought it was so sweet. And so that night I went back to the boyfriend's house in Wimbledon with his, you know, wealthy solicitor father and all their bullshit. I remember the Dallas Stars were in the playoffs against the fucking Buffalo jerks, and they beat us. And the Stanley Cup Finals. And so I was up, it was 4 in the morning, and I was trying to stay awake. And so I wrote this song in about a half an hour. And I didn't realize when I was writing it that I had just spent my first full day with the woman that I would later on here in Brunswick, Ohio, on the corner of Ptarmigan and Old Eagle. Later on, get down on one knee, and I didn't play this song or anything. That would be too spot on. But I did right here in Brunswick, Ohio. I proposed to that girl. The roommate got pissed and moved out. The boyfriend understood. It helped that she introduced him to the woman that he later married and had 4 kids with, so. Anyway, I guess my point is that love is complicated, and songs come out of weird places, and they mean things you don't realize that they mean when you write them. And then 15 years later, here you are. She woke from a dream. Her head was on fire. Why was he so nervous? He took her to the park. She crossed her arms and lowered her eyelids. Someday somebody's gonna ask you a question that you should say yes to once in your life. Maybe tonight I got a question for you. Yeah, she started to cry. She said in a good way. He took her by the hand. Oh yeah, he walked her back home. They took the long way. Someday somebody's gonna ask you the question that you should say yes to once in your life. Maybe tonight I got a question for you. Yeah, once in your life. Maybe tonight I got a question for you. gotta quit.